I'm gonna hit it. Yeah. Oh. Hey,
Hey,
good morning.
hi, my dear friend. How
It's good to see you, you beautiful creature.
what a wonderful man. It's so good to see you. I miss you. I miss you and your family.
Well, we're supposed to hang out. I mean, we only have like a couple more weeks of summer, but we're supposed to hang out so you can meet Sarah.
Yeah,
Um,
and we are thinking about making a film,
yeah,
which we can talk about later. But I think
yeah. I am nervous for that one, but I will go boldly into that night.
innings definitely go bravely into that night, which is uh, which is great, and that's what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a brave with a kind of foolish abandon or yeah, that's what it kind of feels like. I think you have to be a little naive to paint, but yeah.
That's actually one of the things that I wanted to talk about because uh, starting with the divers in your painting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, uh, they look like they could either be running away from something, or they're jumping for joy, or they're jumping into some kind of void of despair. And
Yeah.
it makes me think. They always make me think about Kierkegaard, about like
Soren Kierkegaard.
yeah, the leap of faith,
Yeah.
because it was a very strong spiritual component to
Yeah.
everything you do.
Yeah.
Uh, so they're not really having fun, right?
Well, I use this phrase a lot. It's everything and nothing at the same time. Because one, all right, let me give you some context. One, I feel like the age that we're living in, everything is revealed, right? So there's hardly any mystery to life, even like religious practice and stuff like that. It's very like systematic. No, you have the church, you have Buddhism, you have all of these systems of thought. Nothing is like locked in and then just mystified, just like what Berger was saying, like, John Berger was saying that with seeing, like the mysticism is kind of gone from our age. So I feel like whenever you're trying to like describe reality, and that's what I think I'm trying to do, is like I feel like I have to have a multi-pronged approach. So it has to have that air of seriousness, but at the same time, if it's so serious, it's going to be lopsided and then it's going to feel like it doesn't exist now, where it has to have that kind of whimsical, I wouldn't say irony, because like I, I don't know. I'm on the cusp of being a millennial. So, millennial art is very ironic. But like I came just before when everything is heavy and serious and brooding. So I'm always tipping on the edge of that stuff. Yeah. Uh,
I, I get that completely. It really is. We live in a time where everything seems to be described and defined, and
mm-hmm,
seem to have more faith in things that are defined and described. And yet, in the pre-millennial times, and there was an idea that yes, we can describe as much as we can, but there is always a component that
mm-hmm,
exists beyond that, and
yeah.
we don't know what that is. So I think you're really right to create a world where it's everything and nothing at the same time, or it's
Mm-hmm,
everything, you know what I mean? That it sort of keeps the window open, you
mm-hmm.
know. Uh,
Because because to me that's kind of like what belief is like if I have, all right, let's talk about simple faith. If I have faith that the chair, when I sit on it, it's going to be fine and it's going to hold my weight, I will engage that action, right? But I can look at the same chair and be like, I just fell yesterday on a chair, so let me not sit on it, you know? So to me, it's like multiple views are occupying the same space or the same mind, or can exist in the same place. And that's kind of how I'm thinking about the divers. Yes, it's an action, And then I'm thinking about like what does it mean to dive, to move, to be suspended in the air for just a millisecond, and then all the metaphors for me that spill out of it, ambition, striving to be better within yourself, all of that stuff comes. But then with it, it's the dark side too. It's a falling because some of them are falling. Some of them
Yeah,
are striving at the apex of the jump, you know? And yeah, and I think for me, that's what reality is. It's while you're striving to be your best, your worst is at the door and you're fighting it to forget it and to push past it, So
yeah. It's interesting that you're born in Jamaica,
yeah,
but and you studied there before you came to the United States, where I met you, and we
yeah,
became
yeah,
friends. There is a strong cultural difference between the Jamaica and the United States, but you don't you are more interested in merging the cultures. You have a
yeah,
great respect for Western culture, but you really are beholden to your
yeah,
identity as a
yeah,
Jamaican of African descendancy, right? And you
yeah,
try to bring the three elements together in a very interesting way.
yeah. Well, I'll just say I hold that all to my Caribbeanness and then also to my face that I grew up with. My mom and dad like were really and truly they never saw a difference between people, and although you acknowledge that we are different but it never was a barrier to anything else. So I engaged New York that same way and came out of it like changed. It was a beautiful experience. I felt so expanded going to the academy, meeting you, meeting other people. Growing up in a country where it's like 80 to 90% black people, and then me coming from where I came from in Kingston, very urban, very dense. There's a lot of similarities, but yes, culturally it was different. But I would say my upbringing kind of helped me to, you know, accept it all. It was a lot to accept because New York is
Of course,
it's like a rose. It has the petals, those beautiful petals, but the thorns are there, and I will forever be changed by kissing the green lady. Yeah. Yeah, but being Caribbean is part and parcel of like accepting like a hodgepodge of different things, and that's what it means to be cosmopolitan too. So I think my upbringing kind of really geared me for all of that stuff, and so it was a shift, but not like a huge one as you might have thought.
yeah.
Yeah.
The I know you're really interested in and you actually embrace Western culture
Oh
because
yeah.
you love it as it's and who doesn't? I mean, I
Yeah.
love kinds of cultures all
Yeah.
over. Western culture is one of them, and there
Yeah.
are all sorts of things in it that there's a lot of overlap that people don't tend to look at, between the cultures, especially in the spiritual realm. You
Hmm.
know, uh, I know you're really interested in Dante, and you did that magnificent painting
Yeah.
where one end you have a spaceman and other people engaged with umbrellas and
Oh yeah.
a bowl in the
Yeah.
background, and
I'm going to see if I can pull it up while you're talking. Yeah. Give me a second. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
such a powerful painting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank you. There you go. Yeah. So it's called Into the Forest. I started it 2018. It's like 10 feet by 7 feet. Um,
wow.
and yeah, it's literally like the first three cantos of Dante, um, the Divine Comedy, where he's analyzing his life. Because like for me, I found like a lot of similarity and mirroring as I was researching it, because it's a mammoth text, right? And it's not only a lot of words, but the words are like so intricate. It's like almost kind of reading the King James Bible, but more dense. You know what I mean? Yeah. So on reading the text, it kind of really bowled me over how I was entering a new phase, becoming a dad, right?
Uh-huh.
And and for me, that like changed me so profoundly on levels that I can't even like describe. But it was a catalyst to kind of start this kind of deep research within myself and like trying to figure out where do I want to be, what do I want my son to see of me, what version do I want him to see. So
Do
I
you
was think,
do
yeah.
you identify with any of the characters or all of the characters in this? Are you the spaceman or are you the multiple figures?
I,
I mean, I
yeah,
keep Dante entering the forest, the dark forest, and he meets Virgil. Well, before that, yeah, but
yeah,
Virgil to him. I see two figures in the background. I don't mean to be literal about this. I'm actually interested in the fact that there's a great a balloon, a shaped balloon in the center of this thing, which seems to block and access to the
yeah,
forest. Uh,
yeah, because like for me, I was trying to describe something I was going through and just using the text as a catalyst to kind of spark my imagination. But that thing that we can't, it looks like a balloon. It's diaphanous like a balloon, but then it has this weird shape that we've never seen before. And I just wanted something menacing to be on the path of life that you can't really describe. And like that's what life is to me. It's like this multi-pronged thing that you have a path that you want to go on. Like maybe it's a carousel at the top right. But at the same time, there's things, people, mysterious, they're doing other things on their path, and it might intersect and it might overlap. I might trip you up, and then also you have you have these weird creatures like that don't necessarily belong, because what is a spaceman doing in a forest? You know what I mean? So it's that kind of idiocy, you know it's kind of like yeah. I
it,
just, yeah, it's hard to explain, but I just trying to find like to give you more the feeling than trying to explain what's there. So these elements are supposed to like, I guess, bring feeling up, uh, make you question stuff. Why is that there? Why is it there? Why is it? What does it mean? And
it's a
yeah, because that's the same feeling you have as you're going on and trying to figure out what you need to do in life.
No, painting really is like a screen. It's an opportunity for speculation and for thought. It's like the
Yeah.
place where you come to be able to speculate and to think and to invent and to because really when you make a painting like this, you're asking people in a sense to use their imaginations to be able to interpret it. You
Hmm.
get enough information so that the interpretation just doesn't go everywhere. It goes to a certain group of things, but you don't
Yeah.
tell them what to think. And
No.
I like that about the picture. The spaceman is very cool to me because it reminds me of another spaceman who's about to enter into a place of infinity or a proximity to infinity.
Hmm.
Stanley Kubrick's 2001.
Oh yeah,
There's
that's one of my favorite movies.
yeah, me too. And you
It's
know what?
it's it's dense, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, I like your paintings, it's dense. What I really like is the also these vertical color bands, and
Hmm.
then most of them ascend to the top of the canvas,
Yeah.
but two of them, it seems, actually go down. It's
Hmm.
like these each of these individuals has the capacity to enter into the state of grace, right?
Mm.
State of grace.
Oh, so you're interpreting it as a circuitous spiritualist, but instead of going into space, into the painting, it kind of fractures. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll take that. I'm going to write that down and add it to what I say.
It does have it. Then there are a couple of them that are headed downward. Like the person with the umbrella is weighted, and so is the red stripe on the umbrella, which is really cool because it's right in the center of the picture, and
Mhm.
it looks to me as if this were some kind of uh, uh, Garden of Eden, in a way, a kind of a corrupted Garden of Eden or a disturbed
Yeah.
Garden of Eden, then the presence of the serpent, is represented by that single vertical uh,
Mm.
descending red line that goes from the umbrella all the way down, right in the center of the picture. I don't know. There are just so many ways of looking at it, and I think it's very beautiful.
No, thank you so much. Thank you so
And
much.
very cool by Dante, you know?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at the same time, I was also trying to think like if Dante was trying to say what he was saying now, how would it be said? And for me, most of my work, and I'm going to go like technical painting is most of my work is acknowledging all of those things that the modernists did, where they made us aware that this is a flat surface, right, and a picture plane, and kind of taking us out of the paint, the illusionary depth, but into the surface of the painting. So a lot of the stuff that I'm doing too is trying to go bring it into the paint into a kind of fake depth, but then at the same time stop it from going very far in it, you know. So
I,
that's a tripping up too because I'm acknowledging that this is a false reality. You know, it's
uh-huh.
here,
Yes,
it's
exactly.
here, but it's not here, and then this goes back to the path too. Like this is only one version of a path, you know. This is only one version. And as they were talking about imagination, that is something that I hold pretty dear. That is your imagination that kind of colors whatever we go through. And that's what I was thinking about primarily. How do you navigate life with your imagination intact? How do you keep all of that, you know, together?
I in your divers paintings, I've seen so many studies that you've done, black and
Yeah,
white study or
yeah.
tonal study for the divers, but also other figures that I think are very powerful, very beautiful. And I think you leave the black and white, the tonal thing, which seems to come so easily to you,
Mm.
actually. Watching you paint those figures in, kind of time lapse photography. It's amazing that you're just your certainty of the mark is so beautiful to me. But when you make the paintings, you imbue them with a tremendous amount of color.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
and that's something we talked about when we were talking about making that film together. Is that because
Yeah,
paintings tend to be more tonal than chromatic, and your paintings tend to be more chromatic than tonal. And
yeah.
so I thought it was interesting that if we made this painting together on film, that I would begin it tonally, and that you would
Hmm.
completely lace it with color, and then I
Yeah,
would get it, try to rope it back into tonality, and you
yeah.
would open it up to this world of color. And I think, but what is the color for you? I mean, is it a spirit? Is it an access to a spiritual realm, or is it a way of taking they're throwing a curveball so that you first appear and look at the pictures and they look like pleasant arrangements of color, and then you look more again at the picture and you realize that it's not such a happy time that we're looking at, but the
Hmm.
colors sort of feel a kind of
Hmm.
joy and happiness. Is
Mm.
that what you're thinking about it?
I th- yes, I think for the most part, I think you're hitting the nail on the head. Um, the more I think about color, the more and how I use color, I'm realizing that it's very, very idiosyncratically Jamaican. Let's take reggae music, for instance. It has this very, very mellow beat, you know. But two things happen when you listen to the lyrics. Either you're very shocked at the overt sexuality, or yeah, it's very somber at the social commentary that happens within the dynamics of the lyrics. Jamaican music like Bob Marley, like a lot of his songs that people in the West take and like just grooving out to it because the rhythm is just so mellow. It puts you in a good place. I remember being at the academy and somebody was asking me, or Chris Lopresti was asking me, oh, what does this mean? And I was literally telling him what it meant. I saw him and his face is like he felt like the moment was corrupted. And that's
Oh,
yeah, and that's kind of like how I'm realizing that a paint where color is a mechanism of handing like like in the Victorian age where the lady would hand her cloth out to invite you in, you know. It's kind of like a coquette in a sense. So yes, it's advertising the sublime and stuff like that and the seduction. But at the same time, the designo, because my work is like very graphic, the designo hits you into this wall of reality. And and I and I think that the paintings kind of oscillate in between color and designo, especially like this one where that pink is so seductive,
uh-huh.
and the yellow just frame the yellow lines just frame it. But then, yeah, I really love this painting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really a beautiful, beautiful painting.
Thank you
Really
so
like
much.
your best, I think. I love it. I love the color development. I love everything you're saying about it. It makes perfect sense. Now I can't wait to go listen to some more reggae. Um,
Yeah.
and have that Chris LaPrese expression on my face when I go, what?
Yeah, cause like even like a simple song like "Feel It in the One Drop," and you still got time to rock, making a one stop. Yeah, it and then he says the generation gap. No, and he's talking about the music, how the music unites, but it separates us because we have this whole, So it's I can't say it's me. I just feel like my mentality, how I think is just like intrinsically Jamaican. And it's because Jamaica is like a hybrid society. It's part Western, part New World, part Western, part everything, part nothing at the same time. Incredibly rich and incredibly poor. You know, um, we fight and we love at the same. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to explain.
It's
You
a really
know.
interesting place. It really is a fascinating cauldron from which to bubble out into the world.
Yeah. Think
You
about it like an island 144 miles long has influenced the world so much, so profoundly. Not
yeah,
only not only like music, but theater arts, dancing, you know, now the art world. And we have like consecutively for 15 years the fastest people on the planet. So that's weird, you know.
what I know that you both you and Priya have made large public works. I remember seeing, well, Priya just did finish the one on the wall of that building,
Oh
which,
yeah, I know you love that one.
and then I've seen you working on the street itself
Yeah.
uh, in videos. Are these, is there a political component to this? How do you expect the larger public to view these works? I know there's very subtle thought going into the imagery. And it's just like what you were saying before. On the surface, there's this sort of joie de vivre, the sort of joy
Hmm.
of life and the thing happening. But at the same time, it's not merely decorative. There's something else happening deep within it. And
Yeah.
do you see it as in political terms at all? Or or how do you
Well,
view the political art?
the public art more so, at least for me, I cannot speak for Priya, but because we work together, maybe I can. Um, the public art, so it's more a no negotiation. Seldomly we have like free reign to say this, that, and a third. That more overt statement is for our personal work, because the public work it has to go through committees and all of that stuff. But that being said, yes, there's always a message more so of hope, unity. The one I did on the ground is about in the street. I don't have it here. This is our public art page. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
beautiful.
thank you. Yeah, so that one was just an extension of the Diver series where it was called Hope. And this one with Priya, I know she was thinking about COVID, and because she did it over the summer, and then we had this burst before we found out about this Delta thing now. Yeah, yeah, so I know she was thinking about all of this hope and resurgence. So, it was like flowers in bloom, and the mural is called Bloom, you know. And then this one with the girls on the side of the building, which was the hugest one we did to date. Yeah. This let's see if I click into it? Maybe. Yes. Yeah. This one was called Victory, and it's two girls of two different races, winning together. So yes, it's a political statement, in a sense, but more so one of like coming together, being diverse but still coming together, still going forward together, still winning together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, they're really, I know a lot of, I would say in a sense that all art is political.
Yeah,
It,
I would agree. I would agree.
and even when you do it personally, for your own, when you're not doing it for public, so obviously for public works, you have to go through committees and things like that, and you can be very kind of cunning in
Mm-hmm.
certain
Mm-hmm.
issues.
Yeah.
Sometimes people don't really know what you're putting into it because they never read the paintings properly.
Well,
They
that's
some
a good thing.
As a good thing because they look at subject matter. Here's the thing. This is why I talk about technical narrative because
Mm-hmm.
people always tend to look at the subject matter and
Yeah.
the disegno. But let's put it into colore has a kind of, let's call colore more the sort of technical narrative, and let's
Mm-hmm.
call disegno the hard fact of the
Yeah.
subject.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to always look at the hard fact of the subject.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What we know, as you and I know as
Yeah.
painters, that the real subject in the painting exists in the way it's made.
Yes.
The way it's made has
Yes.
all the information about its meaning in it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes the way it's made is taking you one way and the subject
Yep.
is taking you another way.
Yeah.
Most people you can let them hang on to the subject. And I like that technical narrative. You're really giving.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, honestly, you know me well, and I think I'm kind of subversive that way. I like subversion. Um, that's my if you would say any kind of political foray. I'm not very overt with stuff, but I'm very opinionated at the same time. But I'm not going to beat you over the head with it. I'm going to subtly seduce you into my point of view. Um, and I think that's a rare thing these days as people look for even more overt things. It's not giving space for like a because somebody can diverge, opinions can diverge, but then at the same time, while they're talking, you're able to seduce them in a certain way so that they're able to see your point from a different point of view and then be like, okay, I might not agree with 60% of it, but I'm okay with your 40%.
Right.
And I think that's what the work was trying to talk about, victory, that Priya and I did, about how can we come together. As we did it in 2019, when the summer, you had riots and stuff like that in the US, and we're thinking like both of us are from different races, how can we do something that kind of talks about that without like but will last forever. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like being more a little bit more subtle.
So
Um
like your wedding, when you had two
yeah.
tables, one table filled with Jamaican food, the other table filled with
Oh
Indian.
yeah. Yeah.
The whole situation was presented to last forever
Yeah.
if well, you're
Yeah,
married.
I'm funny enough. Everyone ate and was satisfied, but we didn't. We haven't tasted that even no.
Oh well, it's just so great to talk to you. You're I mean, I love you, man. You're just
I love
one
you
of the
too.
finest people I've ever met, and you know how close we are, so I don't need to go into that.
Yeah.
But I'm just so proud of you. I think this will be a fabulous exhibition.
Thank you
And
so much.
I wish, are you going to go there? Oh, yes,
Um,
far away.
well, no, it's actually online. The whole thing is online, so it's near and far at the same time.
Here in
It's
Florida.
far in the digital space, but very near for what by the click of a button or a tap.
That's good. Great. It'll give so many people more access to
Yeah.
what you're doing.
But funny that you said that. I think eventually, Beata Madlozi Gallery, yeah, if I didn't mention it before, Madlozi Gallery, she is planning something. I don't know because of how COVID picked up back in South
Yeah.
Africa. Everything is kind of on lockdown, so that kind of upended a lot of plans because we were planning to do that, but but South Africa hasn't been off lockdown, you know, and we're
Mm.
planning a couple fairs and stuff in the US, but you know, she was perpetually hedged in. So
Yeah.
that yeah,
Well, I'm sure that I know she respects your work, and I'm sure that she'll come up with something really
no,
worthy of
yeah.
you, the great Andre Green. So I'm here to talk to you. The
We
last
will
time,
edit that part out.
last time you were in my studio, you looked at one of my paintings and you said you were there in the morning when nobody was awake, and you said to me when you woke up, I wanted to paint on one of the pictures. And which one? You said it was a painting of a woman with a glass in her hand. She was lying on the bed. I said, well, what would you do to it? You say, I take the background and paint it pink. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's what made us think about this idea of making the movie together,
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah,
which I really think we can do. And I think
yeah,
it'd be really fun, and it
yeah,
would be interesting. And
yeah,
I would love to put it online and see what
yeah.
people's reaction is to it.
Yeah, because like I was looking at the thing for a while, and I remember like when I first saw it before you moved. Remember I was asking you about like how did you paint the glass and stuff, and then I'm realizing like actually the figure is not the subject. You know, the figure is just the armature to give you a tale about this environment that we take for granted. And that's why I was thinking that, I would literally paint the heck out of the background, paint it pink, and then
Yeah.
almost kind of turn her into like a silhouette. So that's what that's why I was thinking it because I was looking at it, I was like, it's more about the glass and everything around the figure more so than the figure
Yes. Yes.
itself,
Well, that's
to
very true.
talk about the accoutrement. So that like yeah, when I look at your stuff, it gives me such great food, soul and mental food, and it's like I always have to struggle to like get into it and then walk around it and then find myself out because you don't give me a door out. You don't give me a door out of it. Yeah. So that's
Well,
why it's always in my brain. I can't like let it go, you
well,
know.
you're always in my heart. And so I just wanted to tell you, I'm so happy to talk to you. And
Thank you again.
I
I
want
can
this
stop
to
the record. So we can just